Hi, Professor Carol J.M. here. In this video, I want to address students who have not done as well as they had wanted to on a test. Maybe you got a D or you failed the test. And let's talk about now what do you do? It actually depends on where you are in the class, and if it's the first test, you probably got a good chance to recover from that. Or if you've done well on previous tests and you've just done badly on one test, you probably have a chance to recover from that. I want to remind you about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Those with a fixed mindset are much more likely to blow a single bad grade on a test out of proportion. Remember, it's just one test. It doesn't mean anything about your ability. It doesn't mean necessarily anything about whether you'll pass the class or not. It doesn't mean anything about your personality particularly. It does mean you probably need to rethink how you're taking the class or how you're treating the class. And that's where those with a growth mindset arrive pretty quickly. Of course, we're all going to have a little bit of grieving over what we hoped would be a better grade. So a poor grade or a less than optimal grade in your mind tells you that you need to do something differently in the class in the future. Let's talk about that next. I want to acknowledge that it can be really challenging when you don't get the score you wanted. You get a lower score than you wanted or you fail. It can be a blow to your self-confidence, and it's easy to get buffeted along and ride along on top of your emotions. But I want to ask you to do something a little bit more difficult, and that is to decide how you're going to respond. And if you haven't really been used to doing that, that might take a little bit. But decide that you're going to learn from this and do things differently in the future. First, let's think about the preparation side of getting ready for a test. Did you really carefully do all of the homework, making sure that you understood all of the challenging problems as you went along? That means that you could explain them out loud in words as if you were talking to your grandmother. Or did you do all of the quizzes? Did you do all of the preparation necessary? And that part where you are making sure you understand the challenging problems, that's the most important part, really. It's you just doing the homework, especially if you get help, is not going to be enough to give you a good score. You've got to struggle for that understanding, and the highest level is to be able to explain it as if you're talking to your grandmother. Everything I was just talking about regarding homework and quizzes and explaining to your grandmother, that is making sure that you get that information and that understanding into your brain. Now, the next phase, execution, that means you've got to be able to retrieve that knowledge and that understanding back out of your brain when you need it for a test. Did you take at least three practice tests? And that means going and finding some challenging odd-numbered problems from each of the sections you're going to be tested over and doing them out of order, one after another, without looking at the answers, without looking at the book, and without getting any help, and then grading yourself and seeing how you did. Did you really do three practice tests without looking at the book, without getting any help? The truth is that we're all different. Some people are just going to have a bit more of a natural talent for math, and they might be able to do things a little faster. You may have to do much more work than the person next to you in order to succeed. And if that's the case, there's no point in and no help in railing against that. You've just got to kind of put your head down and do it. So you may need to do more than three practice tests, and you may need to spend twice as much time as some other people in the class on your homework. And if that's the case, you definitely need to face that. So take this opportunity to rethink how you're addressing the class, how you're addressing the class emotionally, how you're addressing the class in terms of doing the preparation work and the learning work, getting the information in, and how you're practicing the execution or getting the information out using practice tests and quizzes. In other words, make some significant changes in how you're approaching the class and how you're preparing for a test, and see if that works. What do you have to lose? Best of luck. I would like to invite you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thanks very much for listening.